Hello, my little spooklings. So this is a little different. I will be sharing some stories I've written for collabs in the past. The last one is more of a roleplay style that I was trying out, so you may or may not like it. Be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. No. No. Please, no. She whispered. She watched as her two young children kept devouring the living flesh from their father. His fingers continued to twitch, reaching out and scraping along the floor in a feeble attempt to get away. And occasionally, he would let out a slow, agonizing moan of pain. He was so weak. He couldn't fight them, and nor could he hurt them. They tore into his flesh. As she watched, she did not know when the virus would finally claim him and turn him into one of the undead. Every so often he would look at her. She would shake her head and remain as silent as possible, tightly holding the knife in her hands and praying that this nightmare would soon be over. Could she end his suffering? Not without risking herself. Eventually, the life faded from his eyes and he fell back with his final, merciful breath. She hated herself in that moment. She was a coward. She had done nothing. Her eyes closed, body tense, and refused to let out the sob that itched to come out. This long nightmare of pain and blood had to come to an end. It had to. Even if she had to do it herself. Memories of the past filled her mind. How many times she had taken things for granted. She couldn't escape the feelings of anger and frustration. She let out a choked sob. There was a dangerous silence. She froze. Her children had stopped eating their father. Her children, the grotesque zombies, took one more bite each from their father until they realized he was dead and their interest had waned. They liked and preferred their prey to still be alive. They awkwardly got up. Their faces coated in blood, with stray entrails hanging from their mouths. She tried not to vomit as she looked at them, and covered her mouth. Her babies, her precious babies, were now monsters. The pair turned to walk towards the door, where more frightening screams could be heard. They were leaving. She peered out, watching and waiting. They were gone. Slowly she opened the door. There was a flickering light overhead. The power had slowly begun to go out as the world fell around her. She looked down at the floor to see the gnawed-on remains of the man she'd married, the man she loved, and watched be devoured like a squirming piece of meat. Her trembling hand held the knife downwards, ready to strike. while most of his body had been torn apart. They left his face intact, a grim reminder of who he was. Guilt and shame filled her. He looked strangely happy and at peace. Those sweet baby blue eyes she fell in love with as a high school sweetheart, with his messy brown hair half covering his face. The good memories all flooded back. She looked down at him with a tender and loving look and reached down. She hoped wherever he was now was better than the living hell she was stuck inside. She knelt beside him, the blood coating her knees as a still warm reminder. She leaned down to kiss those lips she had kissed many times before, and never would again. His eyelids opened, the blue now gone, and a clouded grey replaced them. His mouth opened with a groan. Instantly she knew what she had to do. For a moment she swore there was a look of love in those eyes, a sign of remembrance, a ghost of the man he had been before. She smiled softly. Tears flowed down her cheeks. I love you. I love you so much. I'm so sorry. She plunged the knife into the back of his skull. He died a second time, and she yanked it out. As she looked at him again, she wished she could give him a respectful burial. It was pointless. There was no time. She looked around to make sure her 2 children were not there. They had gone. She lifted the small backpack of supplies she had, put it around her shoulders, and crept out into the darkness of night with her weapon. All silently. She prayed she would not run into either of her children or any other member of the undead. Nor did she know she was being followed. The chase. My heart felt like it was going to burst. I couldn't stop running. If I stop running, I'll die. Fuck, it is gaining on me. I left my boyfriend behind as food for the beast. The wolf, dog man, I don't know. Was it a werewolf? I didn't have a choice. My boyfriend's skin had already been loudly torn off, followed by an arm and a leg. He screamed loudly and pleaded with me to run. The sight of the blood. All that blood. I wish I hesitated or tried to help. As soon as the words were out of his mouth, I turned and ran as fast as I could. The last sight I saw of him was his head being ripped clean off and the burst of blood into the air. All that blood. I had to get out of there. I turned and ran away as fast as I could. The wolf man, whatever. Well, he didn't seem so bad when we first met him. We asked him for help. Did he have any spare matches or anything? He was so friendly, so kind, and invited us to stay near his cabin. We're new to hiking and camping, real city slickers, and we're happy for the help. My mum always hated camping and always tried to keep me away from the woods. I've always been drawn to them. She never said why. She was right. I never should have come here. I could hear the howling behind me. How could such a mild-mannered man turn into such a beast? Everyone heard of the werewolf legends. His eyes had changed. The formerly mild-mannered former librarian had black fur burst from every part of his body. His muscles swelled and into those savage jaws. My boyfriend lost his life. I look back into the darkness and see those glowing yellow eyes, always getting closer. My lungs, they felt like they were going to burst. I leaned with my back against a tree, hunched over and panting. I couldn't let him take me. I couldn't let him change me into something I am not. The wolf was gaining ground, almost mocking me. It could have killed me at any time. What was it doing? Finally, I fell. I sobbed and cried, trying my best to crawl away. I could hear it behind me. The breath of the beast as the moonlight allowed to cast a shadow down over me. My stomach twisted. My chest was tight. I could hear it behind me. I simply could not go on anymore. Every muscle burned. Every limb ached. I was sure I was gonna have a heart attack. I looked up into the sky. It was so different from before. I realized there was a change in me. You can never deny who or what you are. I threw away my glasses. The sky changed. The moon, it was so bright, so perfect.
Tabatha!
I could understand him. You can never deny what you are. You can never deny who you are. There's no point in trying. My body began to morph. Muscles bulged as fur roughly pushed from my skin. My clothing ripped and I could not resist howling at the moon. Behind me, the wolfman. My father brought the corpse of my boyfriend over and I sank my teeth into him, ripping his mangled body even more apart. I was home. I was finally home. The Blood Curse. My family made a dark pact with a demon centuries ago. We were at war with a rival family for the throne and things were getting desperate. We lost most of the battles and a lot of our territory. I believe they didn't think we would have survived without that pledge. And who knows what would have actually happened. It is said that the pact was made in the ruins of a desecrated church. The rival family herded the village peasants inside and they burned it. The people were burned alive. A sacred place forever corrupt. They crudely bargained with a trickster demon who knew which buttons to press. It used their anger, pain, and they made a terrible deal. It is said that the site is now haunted, cursed. No animals go there, and nor do any plants grow in that area. It is completely barren. Our pets always end up dying, and we have black thumbs, so Our gardens always look terrible. All the plants we own die. Death follows us wherever we go. But anyway, the ritual was made and the demon had been summoned. I don't even know the name of the demon. I don't think they knew the cost would taint their entire bloodline. When they summoned him and they asked for victory, they got it. But it didn't take long before sterility took hold. My family produces plenty of daughters but no sons. In the past, it was devastating to family fortunes. We have also been riddled with sickness, infertility, murder, unhappy marriages, disgrace. We lost the throne we made the bargain for to begin with. So, all the suffering that followed was for nothing. Every decade, in order to reduce the impact of the curse on all members of the family, someone gets sacrificed and everyone in the family is forced to watch and participate. As you can imagine, family gatherings are never pleasant. It isn't easy talking to someone who did that to you or someone you were close to. The way we decide who eventually dies is, apparently, a name is pulled out of a hat by a council of elders, and mine was drawn. I am doomed to die. I am not innocent. I have done this since I was a child, and I willingly joined in with the bloody rite. It is normal for us, as normal as any other family tradition. Even though I always knew there was a chance, I never believed my name would finally be written in blood on the household door. Can I run? Well, I don't think I would get far, and I know what will happen to my family if the ritual doesn't happen. So, I have to endure. All of it. I will be taken deep into the woods, away from prying eyes or help. The skulls of previous family members who have already been sacrificed will surround me. A pattern painted on the floor using the blood of the previous victim. The family, everyone, from the elders to the children, will be there to witness and slice or pierce my body. I will slowly be skinned alive, my blood drained for the next ritual. Slowly, each of my organs will be pierced. Enough to drain me of life, but not to kill me. My body will slowly be roasted, all to prolong life and cause as much suffering for as long as possible. Once that is complete, and if it is done correctly, I will still be alive, and my family will tear pieces of flesh from my living body and they will consume it. The last thing I will see is my family devouring me. I don't want to die. I don't want to die like this. They're here for me. The sisterhood. Today was the day. I had finally grown up. I followed the elders through the castle corridors towards the arena. This was where my fate would be decided. Everyone in my family has been involved in this, and most of the time we die because of it. To die of old age or through natural causes is considered the greatest of blessings. The walls were lined with paintings and statues of past soldiers. I could feel their eyes on me as I walked, silently judging me and what I would do. Their ghosts would watch from the paintings, forever silent. If I failed, it would be the end. The infamous red doors with gold markings were gradually becoming larger as I approached. Behind me I could hear my sister's footsteps, and my cousins, and my other distant family members beyond. All the girls of this generation. I wondered how many of us would survive. My palms were sweaty. Behind those doors I will be tested. I will become an adult in the community if I survive. We all stopped outside the door. The priests and priestesses of the order blessed us to give us victory, strength, and courage. Most of us will die here today. The doors creaked as it opened and we entered the arena of death. Our families will watch us fight and likely die. If they helped us, over 1,000 years of tradition would come to an end. The agreement would be broken and hell would be unleashed. It couldn't be easy to watch your children die. Behind me stood all the female children this generation. Unfortunately, many boys die in childhood. They send the demons to strike at them when they are young and at their most vulnerable. No matter how many talismans were placed around the cribs, most of the boys of the clan die young. These makeshift gladiator games give people a chance to view the offspring of different clans. I suppose it's strange for you to hear about, but this is completely normal for us. As normal as allowing a child to get their own phone at a certain age or to go to the movies. Instead, we fight demons. My hand steadily held the hilt of my silver-plated sword. I dipped it in a mixture of salt and holy water. I looked around and saw the other young women of the family. Each of them were armed with their chosen weapon, one that we had all been training with since we were children. Nervously, we looked around and waited for the drawbridge to lower. It was one thing to be warned about this, to train, but it was another thing entirely to have a demon launch its attacks on you. The battle was bloody. Screams followed me as my sisters tore their own eyeballs out, while others desperately tried to run up the walls while screaming to their parents for help, or while their parents helplessly watched. Many others readied themselves and began to attack, weapons drawn. I saw one of my cousins cornered, and I cut the demon's head off, and I was sprayed in the face with oil like blood. It tasted utterly vile. I spat it out, but then we were separated. The air burned all around us as smoke was everywhere. It was hard to see and hard to breathe. We were warned in training about the chaos of battle and listening to tales from battle-hardened elders, but it was completely different to actually be there. I can't be sure, but I think 2 demons set my sisters against each other. There was just so much chaos. It was hard to see or hear anything. I felt teeth dig into my arm and I thrust my blade into its face. There was a scream and my arm was released, but something pounced on me and knocked me straight to the ground. The breath was taken right out of me. I looked up into the smoky mist and I saw the face. I will never forget those eyes. Its face was so close to mine. The smell of sulfur was incredible and overwhelming. I fought with it for a while, struggling, neither of us gaining the upper hand. Our mouths were open, and I managed to stab it in the temple. I will never forget that scream. I had a choking sensation, but eventually it passed. And finally, it came to the end. We won, but at a terrible cost. I stood up. My body ached and my sword was chipped. It was coated in slick, black blood and entrails. I looked down in awe at my trembling hands and stretched. I would have to get used to this. The sword felt hot and heavy as I dropped it to the ground. I survived. I can't believe I survived. I was the only one of 3 who did not perish in the onslaught of 70. 67 died this night. I walked out, but I was not alone. It was an incredible feeling to survive and to hear the clans cry out your name. Victory. The sense of victory. The look of happiness on my parents' face made it worthwhile. I exited the arena when the doors opened. The celebrations had already begun. Drinking, feasting, and the songs of heroism will be placed into legend. I saw my reflection in the glass I was drinking from, and there was a change in me. And not simply from the battle, but I picked up a visitor along the way.
And I'm happy to be free.
Jewel of the Outback. Oh hey, how are ya? Come on in. Welcome to the Last Stop Pub. Want a drink? Alright. Take a seat and check out the menu. And, oh, you want me to tell you about me? And the town? Well, okay. I'm not really all that interesting. Small town girl, been here all my life. My family have always lived in or near the outback. Always. We've always been here. Mum's lot settled here soon after the first fleet, and my dad's mob have been here forever. We're the last stop before there is nothing but desert as far as the eye can see. So, the family business is our bit of everything. Petrol station, small diner, small pub. There aren't a lot of stores open anymore in the town, and I suppose we're near enough to what you can call a ghost town. My town serves as the last stop before you go down that long highway, the longest in Australia. Now, before you all start talking Wolf Creek murderer, outback, blah blah blah, there aren't that many murderers, so hey, don't make me go malay on your ass. Anyway, people would travel out into the outback and they would say that they can hear whispers at night. You know, voices that are quite human. Anyway, I used to think most of them were just drinking too much or were just overly tired. It's a damn long road. And it doesn't help that some of the locals really love to tease the tourists. You know, but there is a town legend. And like many of them, there is an element of truth to it. Basically, some guy killed his best friend in a drunken brawl, and then he was hunted down by police. this was in the 70s or the 80s. I can't remember. It was long before my time. Anyway, before they caught him, he went to the houses around the edge of town and cut up families in a blind rage. These were all family members of his best friend. Again, close town, small. Anyway, he wanted to wipe out the entire bloodline. Bit of a psycho, right? He left blood and entrails along the walls so the houses were practically painted in blood. Blah blah blah. The story changes depending on whoever you talk to. Some say he wanted to wipe out more than the couple of families on the edge of town. He stabbed them all and left their bodies to rot before they were found. Others say he did some sort of satanic rite and then the land became cursed. Hell, there's another version that even goes as far to say he was the town butcher and his missus owned a pie shop. So, that's what the meat was apparently for. Anyway, it's supposed to be haunted as all hell over there. I've been there a couple of times when I was younger, and it was pretty creepy. Can't say I saw anything weird though. I did go during the day, it was just sad. There's dust everywhere, and knowing that people ended their lives in such a horrible way. What? Oh, no, you'll know them when you see them. These are two really rustic looking houses, and the third one has completely fallen down now. You know, the kinda old fibro style of homes. If you go inside, look at the ground. You can see where the blood has seeped into the floorboards. There are pictures and old furniture laying around. The families of the victims never came back to claim any of it. Kids graffitied the entire place, and every now and then there are calls to have the town mayor, bulldoze it. It's a mixed bag. Some tourists absolutely love it. Others, they hate it and avoid the town. To be honest, I'm surprised no one has burned it down by now. No one wanted to buy the houses. Hell, no one even wants to buy the land either. So they just sit on the edge of town, doing nothing. Just a grim reminder of a very dark day in the town's history. Oh yeah. Every so often, shitheads from out of town will try to go in them. And we usually find them running naked, in the bush somewhere. Most of the time they're screaming some bullshit that they're being chased by someone, and that they heard screams of people being murdered. Ooh. And naturally, the footage on their cameras is always dodgy. You know, that blurred image, that could be anything. Yeah, not trustworthy. Could just be for content and likes. Or maybe there actually is something out there. Oh, yeah. I'll give you some directions. Okay, so in order to get to the highway, you have to go down Main Street. Yep. Alright, then turn right. Then another left, and then straight past those houses. You need to drive past them. It's the only way you can get out. Sometimes the tourists will actually speed back. They say they can see a man through the broken window who's holding a bloodied knife, and They can hear screams of all these different people as they are being cut to pieces. Oh yeah, it's a rite of passage for the neighborhood kids to go in there. Some of them have gone at night and they've gone completely nuts. And, well, we're a small town. We need young people here. There's always been spooky stuff in the outback. Always. Anyway, have a safe drive. Make sure to rest along the way. It is long. Don't want you falling asleep at the wheel. Yep, make sure you're fueled up and have plenty of water. And whatever you do, don't go in those houses. It's just not worth it, man. Let's just don't. Oh, before you go, do you want to buy one of these pies for the road? They're nice and fresh. Thank you for watching. Make sure to stab the like button, comment and subscribe for more. Check out my merch and my Patreon down below. Stay safe, my little spooklings. And remember, I'll be watching you.